now just 1 week away from Election Day.
It's almost here, everybody. We almost made it.
Woo.
Hillary Clinton and her supporters are fighting back against the FBI's decision to examine thousands of emails possibly connected to her email controversy. Donald Trump coming to Eau Claire, Wisconsin today. Part of a reshuffling of the final week of the campaign. Trump telling supporters at rallies that he thinks Minnesota is within his reach, too.
That's in Minnesota, a state which we could actually win. We can win Minnesota.
Well, can he win? Anything can happen, right? Polls have not seemed to indicate that Donald Trump has much of a chance here in Minnesota, but the polls could be wrong. Let's talk first of all about this strategy, Kim. The last week of the campaign, you would expect candidates to be spending their time, all of their time, in states that are bigger prizes. I mean, the electoral votes that come from Wisconsin or Minnesota are meaningful, but not that big.
And perhaps even battleground states, which I don't know if you would consider Wisconsin, Minnesota.
Maybe,
it
but
can
Minnesota,
be, but,
no.
But traditionally they have gone blue in recent elections. I think what
1972 was the last time Minnesota voted for Richard Nixon.
There you go.
Last
and, you know,
Republican.
I think what he's trying to do is he's not trying to necessarily sway people to maybe vote differently than what they would. I think he's trying to rally his own. He's trying to get out his base because at this point, this election is going to be who can get their supporters to come out and vote. And right now, his core supporters, if you look at who typically have turned out for him at his rallies, are the working class, white, male, uneducated. And there are those people here in Minnesota and in Wisconsin as well. And if he can get them to come to the polls, he could win these states.
I think it could be really easy to dismiss kind of the trips to states outside of, you know, those main battleground states. But you see this kind of surge, and then you see Hillary Clinton just this weekend starting to run ads there, sending her daughter on 3 different stops to Wisconsin. So I think at first I kind of thought like, okay, well, you know, maybe that's unrealistic. But when you see the other side start to fight back, maybe there's a little bit of truth to what he's saying.
Well, you do see the polls are very interesting to look at because the way polling works is that they do this sample and then they weight the sample. So typically older voters turn out in a high proportion. So they maybe interview 10 older folks and then multiply that up because they turn out. Less non-college educated white voters, typically not a tremendous turnout. But there's a researcher that looked at which kind of battleground states have a high proportion of those voters. Because those folks are Donald Trump supporters, by and large. Arizona, Iowa, Michigan, Missouri, New Hampshire, Ohio, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. And so this is a turnout gamble. We've seen Mitt Romney try to come to Democratic states and try to swing them Republican. Didn't work. But Donald Trump is not Mitt Romney, so we will see. Who knows? Who knows?